All right, everybody. The Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. Welcome, everyone, to the Real Talk Sports Show. I am your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons, and we are back in what used to be the lockdown living room. It's unlocked now. And we thank God for those of you who are joining us here on the broadcast, on whichever way that you are watching and listening. We thank you for joining us here this evening. And we are very, very excited about that. And we are, like I said, just happy to be here, man. Just happy to be back in the mix. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. I have a wonderful praise report. Let me put on my Las Vegas shades because we're back in uh, our our home of the lockdown living room. Like I said, no longer lockdown as we come out of the pandemic. We're moving our way slowly, creeping our way out of the pandemic, and we're very, very appreciative to the Lord for doing that. We're also very appreciative to the Lord for allowing my daughter to get through her eye operation today. Thank you, Lord. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. So again, we're very, very excited this evening to just like I said, man, be in the building and see my daughter on the way to recovery, to having her eye completely healed. Again, we appreciate all those of you who have tuned into the broadcast here on all the portals. As you know, I'll pop it up here. We are on all the portals, boys. We're on uh, follow us. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're also on YouTube. And we are also on Twitch. Follow us at Real Talk Sports 7 at all of those things there. If you're on YouTube, we're actually on Real Talk Sports TV. Find us there and follow us there as well. And again, we appreciate you for joining us today. And again, we're excited that we're back in our home, the lockdown living room, back in the building, baby. We're excited about that. Well, we're also excited about the fact that we have two great co-hosts that join us here each and every week. One of them is a not one but two-time Super Bowl champion. He's also a member of the Fort Valley Sports Hall of Fame. The one and only Tyrone Poole is in the building. Tyrone, sir, welcome back.
Hey, how we doing, Jonathan? Hello, everybody who are watching and listening. Hope you had a very, very productive day and you worked that thing today.
Amen. Well, Tyrone, I'm going to tell you something. I'm a happy man. You are a father, so you know how it is. If your children are any type of distress, it is something that affects you as well. And my daughter has been dealing on and off with some very bad eye problems. And so she had to get some surgery done actually today. Fortunately, it was outpatient surgery. And after a couple of hours, I saw in the wheelchair that face that even though she's a grown woman, still got a little chubby round face, and so them sleepy eyes look at me and say, "Hi, Dad." I'll tell you, Tyrone, it took me a lot to not just tear up, buddy boy, because as you know, man, you know that for a father, I know that sons are important, but it seems like daughters have a special relationship to their dad. So again, we thank the Lord Jesus Christ for His healing power, and the good news that our operation actually was shorter than anticipated. The doctor said there's already some healing in the eye going on already. So man, just yeah, the minister, the happy man.
Praise report. That's what they call it. Praise report.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir. And that's what we have today. Well, speaking of praise reports, we have a praise report, guys, because as you know, if we have the champion, we also have the queen. The lovely Miss Tree Dolman is in the building. Tree, welcome back.
Hello. Hi, you doing, Jonathan? Hey, Tyrone.
hey Tree, how you doing?
I
I'm doing
am
great.
so sorry for being late. I got a call from my pageant director, and we were talking about the pageant, and I looked up. I was like, "Oh my goodness, I have to go!" So Please forgive me.
Well, the queen, I mean, what's a queen without the pageant? So we got you. You got to take care of that. That's important. I mean, so we get it. Well, like you said, I was happy to have you back, and I'm glad to, like you said, just told Tyrone the praise report that my daughter's eye surgery today was successful, and we look for her to go on the road to recovery. It's going to take a little minute, about 4 to 6 weeks, and there's going to be a little discomfort because she has to hold her head a certain way. But I don't care about none of that. I'm just happy my baby is home in her house, feeling good.
Oh,
Amen.
praise God. That's so awesome. I love to hear that.
No, praise the Lord. Like I said, I've been a really blessed man. I get into all the details. My daughter got here under very difficult circumstances when I was a much different man. But Lord has a way in the fullness of time of working things out. And really, since she's been about 12, and she's 40 something years old now, she's on or off lived with me or within 10 miles of me for the last 30 years. So
Oh,
it's just for me a great blessing to even as she's grown, think that it's okay to hang around the dad every now and then. So it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
yes. Nothing like a dad's love. Daddy's girls. I'm a daddy's girl.
See, I know, and she is too. I mean, even the people at work tell her to this day. They said, Vanessa, sometimes your dad he refers to you as like the princess. She said, yeah, that's my
That's
dad. I said,
right.
yeah, because to me, I mean, that's the way I was raised. I was fortunate that my grandmother actually lived to see my daughter graduate high school. So we've always had those multi-generational things going on in the family, and that's everybody was just like, hey, you know, like I remember one time having to leave because my mom was being talked to by my grandmom, and everybody looking at me. I'm like, hey, I got to go. That's my mom. I'm out of here. So I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just appreciative that we have that relationship still going on. But let's talk a little sports. A lot of stuff went on in the last couple of days. We're going to pop up on the screen here. Our topics for today, if I can find them. Are you here? Somewhere. Here we are. Bam. Yeah, so we're going to talk a quick little Braves update. I think they're playing a doubleheader right now against the New York Metropolitans. Of course, we got to talk about the NBA playoffs, all the things that are going on there. Um, Want to get you guys picks: Sixers versus Heat, Celtics versus Bucks over in the East, and of course Warriors versus Mavs, Memphis versus Sun in the West. Talk a little bit about the Hawks. What should they do to improve their team so they can get back to being going deep in the NBA playoffs? A little bit of spotlight. I want both you and Tyrone to give me updates on what you guys got going on with your respective businesses and off show stuff. NFL draft grades. We want to talk about the winners and the losers in the NFL draft. We want to do, of course, a spotlight on the Falcons. Grady Jarrett, he signed today. Other offseason ads, draft recap as well. Tree, I'm going to have you talk a little bit about some guy from the Big Ten.
Big
He
Ten.
is the linebacker, Mr. I can't pronounce his name, Arnold Ibikete. Tyrone, I want you to give us a little thought about what you think about Drake London, the number one overall pick at number 8. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about Mr. Desmond Ritter. And then we all are going to chop it up for what the overall grade is for the Falcons draft overall. So for those of you who are watching, that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So you guys can chime in, join us. We'd love to have you jump onto the show. Well, let's get to it first, guys. Uh, I don't know if you guys have been watching the Braves much. They've been a little up and down so far this season. Tyrone, I asked you first, anything to be concerned about after them coming off the World Championship from last year?
No, I don't. Really, if you look at where the Braves are right now, they're sitting what 11-14. If you go back to last year, you actually go back to last year, they're actually in the same spot. They were probably a few games, 1 or 2 games more last year in 2021 at game 25. That's where we are right now. So game 25 last year they were 12-13. This year, they're 11-14. So really, I don't think it's no big concern right now. They are a proven organization, and whenever you won a championship, you know how to get there. That's a difference between getting to the playoffs and losing. But the way the Braves won the World Series last year, I don't have no concern. This early part of the season, teams kind of beginning to feel themselves out. They made a few acquisitions on the Braves, so everybody has to get into that mode, and it's a long season. Let's not forget that. So no, I'm not concerned by no means.
All right, Tree. Any thoughts from you about the Braves maybe kind of falling off the ladder here, or you think this is just, hey, it's a slow start to the season, they'll be fine?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you recall last year, I said the same thing. A lot of people were starting to get concerned at the beginning of the season. And just like I said, hey, we have a long way to go, a long season to go. And we see they won the world championship, the World Series. So I'm definitely not worried. It's still the beginning. So, hey, I think that they will just be just fine. I think they will still go to the playoffs. And who knows, they may even do a repeat.
Yeah, I think they're ready to go. You got Ron Acuna coming back now. He looked factory fresh the other night. I believe stole a base. It looks very, very speedy. They've made some nice ads in the offseason as well. So yeah, I have no doubt that the Braves are going to be able to, get back. I think they'll overhaul the Mets as they've done, in previous years and come back. Right now, they are in fourth place overall. They're 6 games back, but as Tyrone pointed out, they were about that same number back in August of last year, and they came roaring back to take the title. So I think they have a lot of depth. I think the team is loaded from 1 to 9 as far as their batting order, and they brought back Marcelo Zuna, who was suspended due to his domestic violence situation. I guess him and his wife have made up now, and he's back playing. Like I said, Acuna is back, and they've added some nice pieces from their farm club and other places. So yeah, I look for the Braves to come roaring back and handle their business. And I think they have a very, very good shot to repeat as World Series champions.
Yeah, and like you said, the one thing they have players coming back. It's like any team. It's like yourself, Jonathan. It's like, say for example, at the dealership, you've been out for a couple of weeks, so sales went down. As soon as you come back, I'm like the sales take off, man. So it's the same thing in corporate America. It's the same thing in sports. The Braves had a lot of players that were injured, and they still won the World Series. So now they got these guys back. So I expect them to, once that chemistry hit, and one again, it's a long baseball season, so I don't have no panicking right now. So everybody's just getting warmed up, like standing in front of the fireplace on a cold day. You just try to get them hands warm.
Yeah, no, that if you like, you hit on the head. I mean, if you look at this team, I mean, there's all stars still packed up and down this roster. Ron Acuna, all star. Matt Olson, they brought over, basically swapped him out for Freddie Freeman, all star and a Gold Glove defender. Dansby Swanson, a great all around player, had his best year last year. Austin Riley, another all star guy that was actually in the top 5 or 6 for the MVP balloting last year. I told you, got Ozuna back. Ozzy Albies, another all star. This team is just packed and loaded. And then when you look, they added on a guy by the name of Travis Demetra. Now that name I might be pronouncing it wrong, but he plays right field. That guy Tyrone is right up your alley. He got raw speed. The other day, a ball was hit into the gap. The right fielder misplayed it, and what every baseball fan loves, they said he's misplayed the ball, rolling to the track, and they said Gene Washington is waving him home. And buddy boy, I'm telling you, he was motoring, and there's nothing like, as you know, inside the park home run to electrify the fans. And I mean, that place was going bananas. So look for that young man again. I hope I'm not pronouncing his name wrong. Travis Dimitri. He is going to be doing some platooning with Ronald Acuna until Acuna gets completely healthy. So again, I think the Braves are going to be a very, very tough out because they got everything you need. They got defense, they got speed, they got power hitting, and eventually their pitching, which has looked a little bumpy so far this year, is going to come around. So yeah, I think the Braves are going to be a tough out when it gets to postseason play.
I agree 100%. So we'll see what it could be interesting to see what Ronald Acuna what he does. I know he's like full of energy and he has something to prove. So again, when you have guys like that coming back, and you already got, like you alluded to, and we've been talking about, when you already have the basis of a real good team fundamentally, and they can hit. We know they can hit. So
Yes.
pitching, just get the pitching going. And really, we saw last year, really, we don't need the pitchers to be dominant. We just need the pitchers to keep the game close.
He was in the game. That's all we need, and everybody will be straight. Like I said, look for the Braves to make some rumblings as we get further into the season. And the other thing too is keep in mind also there was no spring training really to speak of. I think they had a week of spring training. That was it. So at the end of the day, you can't expect these guys to come out of the chute with all cannons blazing. And Tyrone, as you know, you guys didn't really experience it much with the Patriots, but some teams do get a little bit of a hangover after you win a world title. I mean, it just happens. It's human nature. But like I said again, I think once we hit the June, barrier, I think the Braves will kick it in. But speaking of kicking in, guys, we're going to kick it in with some of our sponsors. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. You know, I always tell you, don't go nowhere, please. Thank you. Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net. The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice. All right, we're back here at the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons. Right next to me is the world champion, Tyrone Poole, and right underneath us is the queen, Miss Lee Dolman. All right, NBA playoffs are going full throttle, guys. Great games we've seen so far to start these series. Let's take a peek over in the East. Who do you guys like? I'm gonna hit you up first. Let's go with the Bucks and the Celtics. Who do you like in that one? That one looks like a good one.
I like the Celtics in that one.
Oh,
Definitely like the Celtics. Jason Tatum is playing some great basketball as well as the rest of his team. Don't get me wrong. I think the Bucks are a great team. They are the defending champions. But with the Celtics and the Bucks, I'm actually picking the Bucks. The Celtics. So we'll see how that fares out.
okay. Let's go, Miss Tyrone Poole. Tyrone, who do you like? Bucks and Celtics.
Well, when you look at both teams, to be honest with you, they're kind of like when it comes to scoring. I believe the Bucks are averaging like 108 points, shooting 46% from the field, and then you look at the actual Celtics; they're scoring 108 points, shooting 45% from the field. But the great thing that I look at when you talk about the Bucks, the last 8 games, they're actually 7-1. So that loss actually was their first loss. On the 8-game road trip. But the Celtics, I think they probably have the edge. I like the Celtics, so I'm going to go with the Celtics.
Oh, both of you guys are pulling for the Celtics, and right now, your prognosis is looking pretty good because at the half, the Celtics are hammering the Bucks 65-40 at the half. So
Yes.
clearly,
But
Boston was
who's
feeling
your
some kind of
pick?
way. Huh?
Who's your pick?
I actually like the Bucks. I like for them to repeat. Actually, as world champions, I think they have a very solid team across the board. The one wild card is I think they will be missing PJ Tucker. We saw how he was very disruptive against the Hawks. So I think that's going to be the only reason why they may not be able to take this series against the Celtics. But yeah, I like the defending champions, the Bucks, even though right now they're looking bad as the Celtics are up 65-40. Just a dominant performance so far by the Celtics here in the first half. Let's see if I can get some stats here to see what's going on here. Let's look at some of the players
See,
in the first half.
Jason Tatum with the Celtics and Jaylen Brown, what those guys doing? I'm like, that's a good 1-2, punch, so to speak.
Well,
So
well, funny you should mention it. It has been pretty much the Jaylen Brown show. For those people not familiar, Jaylen Brown played high school ball right here in Metro Atlanta, and he has been a tour de force here so far in the first half, playing 20 of the 30 minutes, 20 of the 24 minutes. He already has 25 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. Jason Tatum is also in double digits at 10 points as well. Grant Williams with 11 points in double digits, and Al Horford, former Atlanta standout, 9 points and 6 rebounds in 18 minutes and playing some tough defense on Giannis. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and take a look at the Buck stack. Brook Lopez has been shut out so far. Drew Holiday, 11 points. Bobby Portis with 7. And as I mentioned, Al Horford has shut down Giannis so far. In 19 minutes, Giannis only has 5 points. So,
Okay.
the Celtics have they've been dominant so far here in this first half, as they lead again 65-40 here at the half. So, The Bucks are gonna have to do do something. Or they're gonna make me looking bad. They'll do something pretty soon. But it's all good. Like I said again, it's just I still think they're gonna win this series no matter what. Okay, let's go to the other series. Sixers against the Heat. Who do you like? Tree will go to you first.
The Heat. As we know, I've been talking about the Heat since last year, and I just love the way that they're playing basketball. Tyler Hero, rooting for him to get Sixth Man of the Year. They just come with great passion and fire when they play. I am going for the Heat in this one.
Mr. Tyrone Poole, do you like the Heat or the Sixers?
Well, I tell you what, if James Harden doesn't show up for them 76ers, then yeah, you got to go with the Heat. But the Sixers, they have a pretty good team, but it's all predicated, I think, on which James Harden once he finally shows up. So he didn't show up the last game.
Yeah, they're going to need James Harden because, as you guys know, Joel Embiid, who could be the MVP of the league this year, suffered, I believe, was an orbital fracture in his face, so he's going to be out. I think for most of the series, if not the whole series, because also got some concussion-related issues as well. So without him, yeah, I think the Sixers have no chance against mine at all, and they have a good possibility of getting out in 5 games. And that's it. Yeah, I think without MB, they just have no shot unless Harding does something, goes back to the old Harding and drops 40 points and has triple doubles every night. Yeah, I just think that there's no shot for the Sixers to beat out the Heat at this point. So that's what I like. Let's swing over to the West. All right, let's look at both the series again. Look like they're going to be very compelling. Let's look first at the Memphis against so I get this right. Memphis is playing Golden State Warriors. What do you guys think about that? What about that series?
Well, for me, I think the Golden State Warriors, they got to be coming in with a little bit of confidence after outlasting the Grizzlies, and which was a pretty good game. I didn't see the entire game, but just looking at the score of 117 and 116 when you're in the playoffs, that's two great teams going at it. So you got to believe that the Golden State Warriors are feeling pretty good. So they always got Steph Curry, that guy pull up from anywhere. So that's just basically their motto is we're going to pull up on you and shoot your lights out. So I'm still going to favor, Golden State until somebody show me that they can outlast them boys from outside.
Trey, how about you? Golden State versus the Grizzlies.
So, anyone who knows me knows how much I love Steph Curry. He is my favorite NBA player, and I am always rolling with him and the Golden State Warriors. They have Klay Thompson. They have Draymond Green, one of the best defenders in the game. And not just a defender, but he's a court leader. And you can see that when he's on the court, the entire game is just different when he's out there versus when he's not out there. And then let's not forget the awesome Mr. Poole, who went to
Michigan. I like that name.
Huh?
I like that name, Poole.
Like that,
I figured you would. Yeah, but Jordan Poole is just playing phenomenal basketball. Honestly, I do see why a lot of people are calling him Steph Jr. They have very similar games in the way that he's coming. He's definitely not even close to his level yet, but he is definitely emerging as a great player. And again, he went to Michigan, so I'm always rooting for Jordan Poole as well. And the team, they're just playing really awesome basketball right now. And in the last game, Draymond Green got ejected. And so he wasn't even out there majority of the game, and they still came away with the win. So I just feel that when he is out there, it's really a game changer. So I'm going with the Warriors.
Okay, well, I can't just have a shutout here, so I'm going to have to pull for the Memphis Grizzlies. I think that Ja Morant is becoming a transcendent player. What he has done in these playoffs has been unbelievable, and his ability to basically beat you on any way you want to do it. He can beat you as a ball handler. He can beat you as a shooter. He can take you in the paint. He can jump out of the building. So again, I'm going to look for Memphis to spring an upset over the Golden State Warriors, and I think I'm doing that just because I don't want to get a shutout. So yeah, look for Memphis to win a knockdown, drag out brawl in 7 games. All right, last one: Suns against the Mavericks. Mr. Poole, what do you think? Who's going to win that one, Suns or Mavericks?
Yeah, I'm going with the Suns. I don't think nothing needs to be said about the Suns. I just think that pick and roll, man, once they get that thing going, it's pretty good. So, and I do like their point guard. So, but I'm gonna have to go with the Suns. Yeah, I think they're a pretty good team. So, pretty good balanced team.
Tree, who do you think?
I am also going with the Phoenix Suns. I mean, they have a great coach. They have great players, and the fact that their star is back from his hamstring injury, and you still have Chris Paul out there, CP3 doing his thing. I mean, hello, he just broke a record where he went 14 for 14 and did not miss a shot. That has never happened before. And now that they have Booker back, I mean, I just see them definitely winning this series, even though the Dallas Mavericks are a really great team. I just think that Phoenix will be too much for them.
And I say this real quick before Jonathan go. Just like Tree say, the Suns, I think they are a little bit more athletic than the Mavericks. And yeah, they can say they got Luka, but I'm like, if you look at the game previously they played, they made him work for every point that he got. It almost reminds me when the Bulls would play the New York Knicks or the Detroit Pistons. They would make Michael Jordan work for every point he scored.
Every
And
point.
toll on your body. So, yeah, I think the Suns just maybe a little too talented and a little too well coached, like Tree said.
I'm on the island again. Lord have mercy. Well, here's the thing. I mean, it is going to be extremely tough for the Mavericks to win, but I will say this: they do have another guy that is showing that he's a transcendent player in postseason play. I think the NBA is in phenomenal shape with this young crop of players. Devin Booker for the Suns, obviously, no Jai Morant, all the things he's doing. Jordan Poole looking like he's trying to not get into the mix. Of course, our own Trae Young here, but Luka Doncic. Uh, what can you say? 44 out of 48 minutes played. He dropped 45 points, 12 rebounds, and still just dished out 8 assists. If this guy can get any help at all, the Mavericks are going to be a tough out for the Suns. And again, Devin Booker, as well as he's playing, he's still just coming back from injury. And, Chris Paul, though he plays well, he's getting kind of long in the tooth. So,
It's just like you said, Jonathan. Luka, he needs help. Again, that's why I referenced to the Chicago Bulls back in the day. I'm like, Michael was the only one, and people were saying, man, if we could just get Michael some help, man. Again, they made Michael Jordan work for every point. And I'm telling you, it does take a toll on your body, even putting it in reference to football. When you're a wide receiver, or let's say not the wide receiver, the gunners, the people that chase the punt, when you get doubled up and you got to fight two people just to be able to start running, that takes a lot of energy. So, yeah, Luka, as long as they keep putting the body on him, make him work, yeah, he can score 45 points, 50 points, but still at the end, he has no help.
yeah, and one of the biggest problems is the idea, and they really would have the help. What people forget is that the big problem that they're having, the guy that kind of is their second leg as far as another shooter to go along with him and Matt Clyburn, Tim Hardaway Jr. is out, and he just has been cleared to run. So I think if they can get Tim Hardaway Jr. back and get him seaworthy maybe by that game 3 or 4, I'm gonna give the Mavericks a fighting chance. I'm not gonna go all the way and say they're gonna win. But I think they can at least have a fighting chance to take this series 6 or 7 games. And once you go to 7 games, as you guys know, anything can happen.
Well, I think games are going to go. All the games going to pretty much go 6 or 7.
Okay.
Now, I say that from a cha-ching state of statement there, because it's all about the money. We all know when games go game 6, game 7, people turn the television on, people go buy those tickets, because that's when the game gets more exciting. So I think that's all series going to go either 6 or 7.
Tyrone saying,
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I agree 100% with Tyrone about the money, but I don't think the players are going to allow the games to go 6 or 7 just because that's more wear and tear on their body. And so I think the players are going to finish them as quickly as possible. And not just that, but we also have seen that it's pretty much not just a given. You can be up 3-1. Teams can still come back and win. And I don't think that's a chance that any of the teams want to take. So I think they're going to try to get the victory as quickly as possible and then give their bodies time to rest before the next series.
Now, doesn't the NBA fund the WNBA a little bit?
The NBA funds the WNBA 100%. Yes.
All right.
More than a little bit.
What does the judge say? Boom, this case is closed. If you funded somebody else, you got to get that money coming in some kind of way. Everybody might not go 7 games, but majority of them games gonna go 7 because they got to fund the WNBA. I'm just saying. I don't.
Well, I do have to say that even if they don't go, even if they don't play another postseason game, we all know that the NBA is a multi-billion-dollar industry, so the WNBA is already funded. But yes, we know that it helps for these great TV deals that they have and the seats and all of that. Yes, we all do understand. So I see what you're saying. I just really don't think that they choose how many games it will go. I mean, of course, I think they would love for it to, but I don't think they say, hey, I want you guys to lose so that we can go more games and things like that. I just don't see that happening. I mean, as we saw in the last series, there was a team that got swept. And, you know, if it was up to them, they wouldn't have wanted that. I mean, these are really great basketball games being played. I mean, it's just, it's nothing like playoff basketball.
You can't, even with President Obama, he just couldn't come out and say, hey, this bill is going to directly go towards the black people. So you can't come out and tell people exactly what you're doing. But hey, come on now, a good person. Okay, hold on. So they're not just going to come out and tell you, we want you guys to go 7 games. You guys go 4 games to 1, So
yeah,
I'm just saying, I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking, I don't know.
On that note, I'm adjusting my shades and my shirt, and we're going to a break. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Please don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
All right. We're back. You're listening and watching the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons. Right next to me, Tyrone Poole, the world champion. And, of course, right underneath us, the queen herself, Miss Tree Dolman. All right, guys, before we shift gears and put our business spotlight on each one of you to talk to us a little bit about what's going on in your particular lives, I want you guys to think about this for the NFL segment. The thoughts that Colin Kaepernick may return to the NFL. Just put a pin in that right there, and we'll talk about that later. Before we do that, we'll go to social media. We go here with Todd. He's saying, okay, he's talking about Coach Smith. Todd, I'm going to hold these comments for a second because we'll be talking NFL in just a little bit, so just hang tight. Don't go nowhere. But first, drum roll, please. We have breaking news from the queen herself about her business enterprise. And so, Ms. Tree Dolman, the floor is yours.
Yay! Well, thank you, Jonathan. I would like to say to everyone that yesterday I officially launched my website. Yay! I have had my business for a few years now and have been working on it tirelessly. And everyone, please go and check out El Shimon at elshimon.com. And we have candles and cosmetics. And actually, I have one of my awesome candles here.
Nice.
Trying to get it where the lighting isn't. So, but yeah, so these are my large candles. And it's funny because I'm actually the entire show I've been sitting here and I'm just like, oh my goodness. Yes. So you can see all of my social media handles. You can also go on any of my pages. There's links and tags to El Shimon Candles and Cosmetics where we have candles and all kind of great products. And I'm just sitting here smelling one of the awesome reed diffusers. It's just amazing. I've always felt that candles and just great smells. We have bath bombs and things like that, which is great for wellness and our mental health and just positivity. Even through college, I always had a night where I would just relax and soak in a tub. And that was my time to depress. And I would just call it my me time. So thank you, Jonathan, for this time to let everybody know what I've been working on. I am very, 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 very excited. God has truly just been blessing me. And so to see my website come to fruition and my business take off is just really a huge blessing. And it's been a lot of hard work. So take a look and hopefully you guys will love what we put out as much as we do.
And one more time, there's a social media right there, guys. Follow her there, and you will find out more information about what she's doing, and you'll have all the links to the website as well. Well, Mr. Tyrone Poole, he has been doing up big stuff. We watched the other day on Instagram where he actually was doing. Well, Tyrone, tell us, it looked like you were doing actually a virtual training on Instagram Live.
No, not really. Actually, I just sometimes I work out and I just, hey, you know what? Whoever's watching, if you want to work out with me, come on to work out with me. But I'm not doing it, you know, consistently. Every once in a while, I'll just go live, and those who are watching, either you can work out with me or you can learn something. So really, I'm not doing it for no purpose other than just to every blue moon, so to speak.
Well, there's how they can follow you right there at Tyrone Poole 38. Check him out on Instagram. You can go to his page, guys, because a lot of that stuff is archived and you can see it right there. Great workout. I tried to do it. I will. Yeah, it didn't work out too good, but we're gonna try again at a later date to go in there and jump into the mix. So again, if you guys check him out one more time, put him back up here so you guys can see. It's Tyrone Poole 38 at Tyrone
Yes.
Poole 38. Anywhere on social media, check him out, and you'll learn how to get fit at any age. Any
And
age.
work that thing.
Work that thing. That's
There you
right.
go, Tree, work that thing. And
Work
if we
that
do
thing.
want to talk about something, talk about Fort Valley. Again, giving props, to my school. Um, I'll be the director of athletics development, so I'm really feeling that from the start. Yeah, so officially, that is my title, and it's good. I'll be able to help these kids, for years to come, their freshman year, and throughout their years, and also when they graduate. And the other thing I'm actually considering, which not considering, I'm going to do it. It's just a matter of time, filling out the paperwork. But I'm going to get my master's, and I'm going to try to get my doctorate while I'm actually there. Participating as the director of athletics development. So yeah, take that thing to the next level, man. So Dr. Poole sounds pretty good to me. So
Dr. Poole sounds great.
yeah, you got to address me as Dr. Poole. So
Hey, well, listen, all you gotta do is change the handle on you right on the bottom. Just put DR right there. And I'll make sure to call you out. Dr. Poole is right. Well, man, listen,
Can I
congratulations
just
to
say,
you.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I know. I just want to say, Tyrone, I am so proud of you. Like, I really am. First of all, you're just a great person. And the things that you do for the community and our youth, especially, and other athletes and other football players that are coming behind you, which is, we're blessed to be a blessing to others. And you definitely do pave the way and you help as many as you can. I see it all the time. And I think that this is a perfect role for you. And I know that you will be phenomenal at what you're doing. And then for you to also further your education to get your master's degree and your doctorate. I mean, wow. I'm so proud of you. Keep up the great work. Congratulations.
That's right. I second that, bro. Definitely good stuff. And, it just gives us all really the understanding that it just doesn't stop. You just continue to try for excellence, continue to push forward and do things. And then while you're, being excellent, you're teaching others how to be excellent as well. So, I mean, that's good stuff, man. We appreciate what you're doing. And we appreciate that you're part of the Real Talk Sports Show. Guys, we want to shift focus here a little bit, go to some football here. As you know, it was the NFL draft that just came on, 3 days of just ups and downs and sideways. Great stuff going on. And of course, the Falcons have been doing a lot in the offseason. For those of you who are hopefully not aware, hopefully aware, Grady Jarrett was signed to an extension, 3-year extension, lots of guaranteed money that he's going to get so he can remain a Falcon. There it is right there. He signed. And there's also been a lot of other offseason acquisitions as well as the Falcons continue to try to rebuild this team from the ground up. So, just a lot of big stuff going on. What do you guys think about the Grady Jarrett signing? I'm going to go to Tree first because I know she's all about defense. Tree, what do you think?
Listen, you know that I am ready for us to get a great defense with the Falcons because I really think that that's where it starts, right? The line of scrimmage is so huge. And so when we can have a defense that is dominant, notice I said dominant, that will change the game. We will be able to get more turnovers, and that will create a better place for our offense. So what the Falcons are doing to actually improve the defense, I think, are some great moves, and I'm really excited to see how it works out.
Tyrone, your thought. Grady Jarrett signing to this new contract, I believe $34 million guaranteed, and being here for at least 2, possibly 3 more years with this Falcons franchise.
Well, if I'm looking at the reason why management did that, I'm looking at the fact that the offense, I don't think they would be ready. They're not where they should be. So if the Falcons are going to win games, they're going to need everybody on defense back so they can at least try to stay in the game and hopefully give the offense a short field. So from the signing, for that reason, I think it's a good, signing to have Grady Jarrett there. Because where else are you going to go and find a player who, once he's on his game, he's really playing, that it's going to take at least 2 offensive linemen, or they're going to have to put the blocking scheme where he is. He's almost like Jarrett. He is the Grady Jarrett is almost like the Aaron Donald. So you got to know where that guy is. And again, I just think because the offense is still going to struggle, they need to put strength somewhere to stay in the game. So I think it was a good signing.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of the foundation. He's been really our best defensive player the last few years. People forget that just a couple of years ago, this guy came off a back-to-back Pro Bowl season, and PFF, Pro Football Focus, does the ratings every year. They had him in the top 3 behind Aaron Donald. I forget who the other player was. So, I mean, clearly, if in fact they can get more out of these draftees and some of the people they've signed in the offseason to take the pressure off of him or to let him be more of a disruptor and be able to get some more pressure from the outside linebacker position than maybe from that rush edge person. Yeah, this Falcons defense is going to be a much, much, much better team going forward in 2022. So I agree. Great signing by the Falcons to do it. Let's go ahead here and go to our man, Todd. He's been chomping at the bit because, Todd's got sources, baby. Let me get the glasses. He said he got some sources that stuff was going down up in Flowery Branch. So let's see if we can get that on the screen here and see what he was talking about. Our man, Mr. Todd, he says there's some drama was happening up in the camp. And this is what Todd says here. Let's get his comments here. He says, okay. He said, Coach Smith threatened to quit the team. He said Rich McKay convinced Blank to let them pick, and Coach got his wide receiver and the quarterback. Blank is not happy. First of all, what do you think about those comments? The idea that Arthur Blank really wanted Malik Willis for that 8th pick, and that he was not necessarily that excited about the Falcons getting Drake London. I'll go to you, Tyrone. First of all, what do you think about the Drake London pick?
Well, I think a lot of Falcon fans were probably shocked that the Falcons would actually go after a wide receiver when really you don't know who is going to be throwing the ball to the wide receiver. Me, preferably, I would have tried to find a quarterback or start on that offensive line because you got to have time for the quarterback or the running play to throw the ball or run the ball to progress. Now, London, you look at like what his stats. Okay, they give every prospect a grade. So out of eight, that is the highest you can get, a perfect 8. That means you are the perfect prospect. His grade coming from NFL Next Generation, they gave him a 6.4. Okay, let me just give you a little heads up on what 6.4, what they're saying about that. Again, like I said, 8.0, that is a perfect prospect. 7.3 to 7.5 is a perennial all pro. 7.0 sound like a Mustang, huh? 7.0. 7.0, 7.1, that's a Pro Bowl talent. 6.7, 6.9, first year starter. 6.5 to a 6.6, that is a boom or a bust potential. And again, they had him at 6.40, which means willing to become a good starter with 2 years of development. So again, maybe the Falcons know something that we don't know, but either way, he's a first round pick. He's going to be called on to step in to be that number one receiver. Now, can he do it? Yeah, he got the size. He has the workman-like demeanor, but some of his downsides, London's downsides, may be his inability of quickness to get out of his releases, out of his breaks. So, the NFL, unlike college, these guys, those corners, if they're not fast, they're super quick and they're super smart. And those that do have the speed, they're going to bait the quarterback. So these tall receivers, when you're not explosive out of your breaks, that's why I always love to cover tall receivers, because they were not that fast and they had to transition all that height down to a level where they can come out their breaks. So with London not really having that quickness and explosiveness out of his breaks, you could see a few things that could be some turnovers, especially when you got a quarterback who's trying to feel himself in the system as well.
Well, let's take a look, see if we can get a little bit of film here. I went to YouTube and see if we can grab a little film on Drake London. Here's some of his highlights as they appear on the Falcons website. Let's take a look.
Yeah, again, you just see it just like too high, and he's just a good route runner. He understands what the defense is. He's a self-defense, a big receiver. But in the NFL, you're going to have big, strong safeties out there. Again, using his height. Sometimes you have inexperienced guys in that secondary. He can take advantage. You see, not a real good explosive burst off of the line of scrimmage. The DB actually was in good position. He just didn't have awareness of the ball. Again, not explosive off the line of scrimmage, but he uses his height, big body to outposition the defensive back. I don't think you're going to have that easy of a play in the NFL, because if I'm a defensive back coach, I see my DB falling on the ground like we see in here, he's not going to be in the game. So again, I think his height, he's a good possession receiver. I think he's good on curl routes, dig routes. But again, we understand what Arthur Smith offense is. It's drive the ball, run the ball, play action, and run those curl routes. You don't see too many deep balls. I don't believe in Arthur Smith's offense.
Yeah, so you see across the board here, as you're pointing out, Tyrone, and this was my concern about the guys that I understand what Arthur Smith is trying to build. Clearly, what he wants is a team that can be a possession style of team where they can get a good running attack, an above average defense, and then basically do a time of possession. This guy, like you said, doesn't appear to me to be the fastest guy. As a matter of fact, the controversy was he wouldn't even run the 40 in his pro day or at the combine. The other thing, too, my little concern is he coming off an injury. On the other side, the guy is huge. 6'5", just under 220. He's a big guy that gives you now, as he calls himself, and Kyle Pitts, the Twin Towers. So certainly, if you have a mobile quarterback, Tyrone, you know how it is. It's a lot easier to hit if you have more of a space to throw the ball when you're on the run, if you're moving around. So that's what I think Arthur Smith's going to try to do. He's going to try to keep the game, eat up a lot of clock, grind it out, and like you mentioned, be a possession receiver. Kind of shocked they went for him at 8. Of course, they backed up and said, well, look at the run on receivers. A lot of people felt that either one of the receivers out of Ohio State would have been a better choice at that position. Tree.
Yeah, go. I'm sorry. I said this real quick, John. I think if anything, if I could compare London, if the Falcons are trying to compare him to somebody, maybe it's Keenan Allen with the Chargers. He's a big guy, not really fast, but he makes plays. So maybe that's what they're looking at with London.
Yeah, a lot of people started talking about that he was that type of receiver. Another person that they tried to compare him to is a guy in our division, which is I just drew up Mike. the big receiver for Tampa Bay.
Evans,
Mike
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans, right. So a lot of people think that he could be a Mike Evans type of player, a guy that gives the quarterback a big target and especially can give you a red zone pop. Okay, leave it to Tyrone to hold on a second, get my glasses back on to throw some shade.
But they got to get to the end zone first before they can even use his height.
There you go. That's true. Tyrone says London ankle is broke. He's limping to the podium. LOL. He was slow before. Lord have mercy. Todd, help us, help us. So that was a shade comment. The other thing Tyrone says, the other thing Todd says, he says it got to be an ugly scene in Flowery Branch. Coach had some heated words, I guess, with the ownership. So, clearly, I will say this. This is the thing that a lot of people get irritated as Falcons fans. In general, let me wrong. If you look overall from what we can see, and we'll talk about it a little bit later because we're going to have Tree jump in and talk about the young man at Penn State. I kind of see the vision that Arthur Smith is doing, but for people that grow up here and grow up in the heart of the SEC, still the question remains is that how you could bypass all of these SEC teams who play against NFL-type talent every week, pulling out these guys who I guess you think are going to be diamonds in the rough. So that's where I guess the big question is from a lot of Falcons fans is that, hey, man, you talking about defense. You had, 15 Georgia players drafted from the defense, or 14, some huge number, or 14 overall, 6 or 7 from the defense. And I think only two Georgia players ended up in, I think, the 5th and 6th round, an offensive lineman and a tight end. So I think a lot of people are kind of irritated. All right, Tree. Now, I know you're a Michigander fan, so I figured that you would like the young man coming off the edge from the Big Ten out of Penn State.
Big Ten?
Big
Yes.
10 in the game. Yes, ma'am.
Well, first of all, let's just say congratulations to the Falcons, right? So last year we finished absolutely dead last in sacks. That's horrible to say. And I hope that this year it is completely different. So for the Falcons to trade up to get him shows that, hey, they're thinking in the right direction. They traded up to get him. We now have a pass rusher. They're looking at him as somebody who can come in and play right away and make a big change and impact the defense immediately. Last year, he had some sacks for, oh my goodness, I just lost it, 38 sacks for loss. And he's just a great player. And I'm really excited to see what he's going to do. And just like you were just talking about with the SEC, everybody always talks about SEC football. I think a lot of people also forget about Big Ten. There's a lot of great players that come out of the Big Ten as well. And so for them to get this pick from the Big Ten, and Penn State has always been a great football club, except for when they were going through their little issues with, what was going on. But out of Penn State, I think that he's going to be a phenomenal player, and I'm really hoping that he can come in and make a huge impact right away to the Falcons defense, because definitely a pass rusher is needed. And so now we have him.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm trying to grab some film on him, get you some highlights on him as well. Yeah, young man basically does give them some speed off the edge. The hope is that combined with Grady Jarrett and the other people they brought in here to really kind of change the narrative and really give them some speed off of the edge. That's what they really need. They need someone so if Grady Jarrett gets double teamed, which he most likely will, that they now have at least one, possibly two players they can bring off the edge to make some impact and get some guys on the ground. Because at the end of the day, all that stuff about quarterback pressures, that stuff all sounds good, but the teams that are playing the best defense, they're able to sack the quarterback. That's really the bottom line. You got to get the guy on the ground.
You got to sack him. You got to sack him.
That's just the way it is. So hopefully this young man out of Penn State, like I said, again, we're going to try to get some film on him really quickly on the screen before we get out of here. But, he definitely looks like he's the real deal. Again, you said what you want about the SEC, but the Big Ten, right, the same thing. I want guys that are playing against top caliber competition. That's really what I'm looking at. And that was my whole thought with, when people start talking about the Falcons and they start talking about getting SEC guys, it's not so much just saying the SEC is the end all, the be all, but the idea is we want to make sure that the guys that they're bringing in are playing against top caliber competition, because Tyrone knows. Now Tyrone will tell you that if you're good, you're good. Yeah. Because I'm sure a lot of people had that question about him coming out of Fort Valley State, but at the end of the day, he raised his level of his game, and that's what the Falcons are going to have to do with these players. They're going to have to get them coached up. They're going to have to figure out that scheme, and they have to kind of find a way to be able to really make their presence known and presence felt. So
Very
again,
true. So I just want to correct one thing that I said. I said 38 tackles for loss. It actually was 18.
okay,
Yeah.
Tyrone, go ahead.
And I say this, let's I'm gonna borrow something from the Super Bowl, okay, with the Rams. Now, the Falcons got Grady. Now, this is all predicated on what position Grady played best. We know that he's more of an interior lineman. But if Grady Jarrett could learn and come from that outside in, now you do like the Rams did in the Super Bowl. You pair Grady, and then you pair your number one outside linebacker, edge rusher, stand him up, and you bring both of them guys from the outside. Man, that's a lot of pressure on that offense. And we saw that it works when the Rams did against the Cincinnati Bengals. When they finally put Aaron Donald and Von Miller on the same side, oh, man, it was creating havoc. So I think if those two guys can play like that, then the Falcon defense can take it up another level, and you start seeing them guys in the secondary get more interceptions and everything like that. So it's all predicated on how Coach Pease uses these guys in the defensive scheme.
Let's see if we can take a look at the young man from Penn State. Let's see if we can get up the video here from YouTube. All right, so we get to play here. Here we go.
Here comes Katie. They call him AK. Mitchell, pressure, and Katie popped it in the air.
Here. So I can't wait to see what he's going to do. I'm excited already, right? So it's going to be some exciting football if I could watch him do that. Now, don't get me wrong. I know it's a lot tougher in the NFL, but I think that he's definitely capable of doing it. And if we're going to get that, hello.
Yeah.
Now, sacks this year. I don't know that the Falcons will be in last place anymore.
You know, there were a couple of plays that I saw, you know, if he's going up against and Tree, you hit the nail right on the head. Coming to the NFL, those left tackles, right tackles, those guys are premium spots. And most teams going to make sure they have a very athletic guy there. Now, what I did see in that film, going against the Iowa State tackle, the Iowa State tackle was able to match his speed rush, and he got his hands on him. So, you know, he was able to still get to the quarterback. But, again, he's going to probably see that almost every week, every Sunday, every Thursday, every Monday, depending on when the Falcons play. He's going to see some offensive tackle who's able to match his speed rush. So now it's going to be, can he adjust his game to still be able to pressure the quarterback, but don't lose the integrity of the defense? Because sometimes Ian can rush up and he goes inside and that tackle washes him down, and then that quarterback gets on the outside, extends the play, and then boom. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how he matches up against tackles that can really match his speed rush.
What the hope is on the other side is they might have a bookender, a guy that actually was from here in the Atlanta metro area, played here, I believe, at Cedar Grove High School, D'Angelo Malone of Western Kentucky. Let's see if we can get some highlights from him as we take a look at what he was doing here over at Western Kentucky, a smaller school, but seemed like he's bringing some speed off the edge. Let's take a look at the highlights from D'Angelo Malone. Let's take a look.
So far, here comes some pressure. Down he goes. D'Angelo. Hitch. Find open receiver. Please go fast. Here comes some pressure. Gotta go. D'Angelo Malone got there.
And middle just needs to make sure. Oh, yeah, you saw it. Fumble on the turnover.
Blitz. Harris caught. Oh, and
and wrestled down. D'Angelo when they got away.
Woo.
And Harris is swallowed up at the 34. D'Angelo Malone got around the tackle.
So, guys, that's what they're hoping they're going to see from both corners, and they're hoping that one of those two guys are going to create some type of mismatch. You can't double team everybody. So the hope is double teams on greater inside, and one of those two guys can get loose and make some plays. And for once, we'll be able to see the Falcons put some pressure on the quarterback and win some ball games here. Last but not least, before we get off here, I want to take a look at the guy that I think is the Falcons quarterback of the future. You've heard me guys talk about this guy on several occasions. The quarterback out of Cincinnati, Desmond Ridder. And the reason why I like him is because he's a guy that, although he played at Cincinnati, he has played against the very best of the SEC 2 years in a row. He played against Georgia in the Peach Bowl last year and played against Alabama in the college football playoffs this year. Now, although he did not have good games, especially against Alabama, the one thing I like, Tyrone, which, I know that, your former coach preached all the time, is no turnovers. Excuse me, I shouldn't say he had one turnover in the 2 games, even though both of those defenses put a tremendous amount of pressure on him. I think Alabama had 6 sacks in the college football playoff, and I think Georgia had 5 or 6 against them in the Peach Bowl, but he stayed with it, hung with it, and Peach Bowl came down to Georgia kicking a field goal at the end of the game, and really had they been able to move the ball at all against Alabama in the college football playoffs in the second half, that game would have been a lot closer than the 27-6 score indicates. So let's take a peek real quick at Desmond Ridder out of Cincinnati. Let's see if I can go ahead and get him on the screen. You guys hang tight. We're going to go ahead and pull up Desmond Ridder, our NFL Falcons quarterback of the future. Let's take a look at this young man. And here we go. Gets out of trouble here in the Peach Bowl. Now it's Desmond Ridder. I believe the guy's going to be our quarterback of the future. Tyrone, you saw that he's really not a guy just running around. He seemed like he really was buying time, which I think is what you want, a la Russell Wilson, trying to make a play downfield. And I think at his height, just over 6'3", about 215, he's got all of what it takes, I think, to be a future quarterback in the NFL and do a great job for the Falcons down the road.
If I may backtrack for a little bit, Malone,
Yes, sir.
talk about Malone real quick. I like Malone. I like him a lot. I like his patience, as we saw in the film. He's very patient. He set up his move when he needs to. He's very good with his hands. I saw a couple times the tackle went to put his hands up. He slapped him down. So you can tell he's been taught very well, and he reads the play on the run. I really like that about him. So Malone, I think he's going to really make an impact. When it comes to Ridder, I want to say this. Marcus Mariota, he knows that his time clock, the sand in his hourglass is running low. He know that Ridder pretty much going to be the quarterback. Now, I say that to say this. In Tennessee, Tannehill, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Tannehill said, quoting, they drafted Willis, right? Tennessee. Tannehill said in the interview, I don't think it's my job to mentor him, but if he learns from me along the way, then that's a great thing. Now, that doesn't sound like a guy to me who is trying to help the team win. That sounds like, to me, a guy who's scared that he's going to lose his position. So, again, if Marcus has that same type of thought, then Ridder is going to actually struggle a little bit longer. But if Marcus comes in, Mariota, and he says, Ridder, come over here. I'm going to show you everything that I know. If you need anything, ask me. Come over to the house and hang out. Let's look at the playbook very quickly. I think Ritter is going to jump up. He's going to probably start sometime during the season. But I hope Marcus doesn't do what Tannehill said in Tennessee. It's not my job to tutor. What? Come on, man. Then you're not trying to help Tennessee win then.
Yeah. Well said, Tyrone. That's just being selfish, right? And it's all about paving the way forward. And I just want to say that this probably won't happen, right? Because I know that you already are spoken for. But I think the Atlanta Falcons need to hire you on their team. I'm just saying.
Hey,
I want to throw that out there.
I'll buy that for $1.
Well, look, at the end of the day, you never know what may happen. Certainly there was a guy that came on our show. He's made a couple of special appearances on the show from time to time. Like Tyrone, played defensive back in the NFL for a few years. And after serving the Fellowship of Christian Athletes here, along with his wife in a very laudable fashion here, he got a phone call one day from the Atlanta Falcons. They said, you know what? We need a new chaplain. And he found himself being a chaplain for the Falcons. So you just never know when that call may come. So yeah, you spoken on the atmosphere, Tree.
That's right. Speaking into existence. I'm speaking it into existence. Tyrone will be on the Falcons staff in the very near future.
Let it be done as it was spoken in Christ's name.
Right.
Amen. Yes.
Here we go. Well, let's get some comments from Todd here. Todd made a comment that a lot of people that are, again, SEC fans, and even to me, it was a shock. The idea that they passed up on a guy like Nakobe Dean, who was a guy that, although he's a smaller guy, Tyrone, as you know, that guy, he has a motor, speed, and, sideline to sideline, and picked a guy from a FCS school who actually 2 years ago had played quarterback. So there's some questions on what kind of the idea is. Todd said he's heading to the liquor store and good night. he's had about enough for the night. But he did come back on and he says, man, hell needs to suit up. So Tyrone, get them all straight. All I know is this: at the end of the day, if you really look at what's going on there with the Falcons, like I thought about this because at first I was pulling my ear out because I was like, why did they pass up on all these Georgia guys on the Georgia defense? They could have picked one of the guys, and like I said, you end up picking up an offensive tackle who's okay and a tight end who's okay off of that Georgia staff. Nobody from their defense. And the idea that you're taking a guy that you're very enamored with, that in essence, I know he was FCS Player of the Year, but the guy said 2 years ago, the team had him playing quarterback. Then the team had him playing running back before they moved to the linebacker. Now, I get it. He's got great speed on tape. Again, sideline to sideline guy. But the one thing I think that is the theme with all of these players is that, and I know you can't use nepotism or I kind of like the guy to field the team, but all these guys check the box with these coaches based on what I heard in the interviews that, number one, they seem to be guys of integrity. Two, they seem to be guys that were football players. They love playing the game. Three, they apparently appeared to be quote unquote tough guys all have backstory of going through whatever different things they kind of went through. And in some cases, they have a connection to the team. For example, Drake London played under the assistant offensive coordinator, Mr. Dagone. He played for him. The young man out of Montana State, he has connections with the team. The team talked about how they like the players, how they interact with their families. So at the end of the day, especially me being all of us here believers, we always want to see guys of integrity. But at the end of the day, I just hope that these guys are really able to translate this toughness to actual top level play in the NFL. Because Tyrone knows from playing the game, everybody's tough in the NFL. Ain't nobody in there no pamby-mamby guy because you can't play that sport being no punk. So everybody's a tough guy. The question is, can you elevate your game to the level to be either an all-pro or in some cases, like we've seen some of the years that Grady has had, we've seen with Julio Jones, even we saw a couple of years with Matt Ryan here, dominant players of their position. That's what we need here to turn this Falcons franchise around.
And I still think the Falcons should have traded down because let's face it, they are in a rebuilding phase. So collect every draft pick you can. Now, if they had done that, like you alluded to, Jonathan, they could have picked up more Georgia players. And you know what that could have alluded to and actually given Arthur Blank? You now got all of the Georgia Bulldog fans coming to the game on Sunday. So not only do you give up picks to pick up picks, but you get an opportunity to get your own home players who now the Georgia fans, you know how loyal those Georgia fans are. They're going to follow their athletes right into that Georgia Dome. So you get 2 for 1, Arthur Blank. You get good players, and then you get fans coming to Mercedes-Benz. I don't know. Unless that player is a dog player, then, yeah, you stay at 8 and you get your guy. But if you know that there are no real good players, man, back out of that thing. You're in the rebuilding phase, and let's pick up some quality players. Let's get some Georgia Bulldogs, get some of them fans that come from Athens to come to the Mercedes-Benz every Sunday.
Yeah, especially when things panned out. Go ahead, Tree.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, that's good too. But I like that they're taking chances, which honestly is all taking a chance on these guys, right? But somebody's integrity, I think, really speaks volumes. And if these players have history with a lot of the coaches that are coaching now, then I think that says a lot, because if you're coaching a player, you're seeing how they are performing on and off the field. You're seeing if they're really dedicated and if they're just living and breathing football and trying to get better, even on their off time. I mean, to me, that speaks volumes, because the NFL is the best of the best. So a lot of these top recruits, a lot of times they may go to the NFL, they get drafted in the first or second round, and then they don't go and produce because it's like, hey, yeah, I'm already great and this and that. But you get these hungry guys who will go and they will focus and they will train and they will do what they need to do to get better. And a lot of times those are the ones that you see starting and playing for 15, 14 years when some of the other guys don't last that long. So I'm happy that they did that. I know guys who did not get drafted and they went on and started and played for teams. They're Super Bowl champions. I mean, I know so many. So for them to believe in these guys, to me, says a lot. And again, a person's character and their integrity. I know that football is a rough game, but how the person is internally really does make a difference.
Well, I tell you, like Jerry Glanville said. Jerry Glanville said the NFL stands for not for long when you make calls like that.
He said when you make calls like that. I didn't think you were going to say that. You got me there, Tyrone.
Yeah, he was talking to a referee made a bad call. Jerry Glanville said, you know what the NFL stand for? Not for long. When you keep making calls like that, I'll be out of a job, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, at the end of the day, what I see when I look at what they've done is they're trying to almost imitate what the Braves did. If you remember, the Braves had a very, very tight budget that they left Alex Antropoulos with. So he really had to kind of basically make a homegrown team and let that team build over the course of a couple of years. And then when they were on the borderline of either blowing the team up or saying, hey, we can go to the next level, that's when they pulled the trigger and brought in the free agents that put them over the top to take them to a World Series. It looks like the Falcons are kind of doing that same thing, going with homegrown guys, going with guys that their coaches know. They have family ties here. I mean, you see fantasy football, Goat Strategy says, yeah, I think Malik Willis reminded the Falcons organization of Michael Vick too much, and LOL, they stayed away. Todd pointed out the fact, which is true, that Mike Vrabel's son, who obviously coached, was head coach over at Tennessee, his son was actually signed as a free agent by the Falcons. So, look, it's like this. I really don't care what the background is with these guys. We know for a fact that, yeah, will we like SEC players here because they have at least somewhat a proven track record playing against other pro players? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, the number one receiver in the NFL played at a school called Eastern Washington. That's where Cooper Kupp was from. He's not from LSU. He's not from Alabama. He's not even the fastest guy in the field. But somehow he has become a dominant wide receiver because he does something that Tyrone talks about all the time. He even broke down the film for us. It's about route running. It's about knowing those dead zones when you have coverage where you can sit down and make a play. That football IQ that Cooper Kupp has turned into a lucrative living and being a dominant wide receiver.
Look at Randy Moss.
Yeah, let me tell you about a little bit of secret here. Really, if you want to win football on offense, you got to have a good offensive line, and you got to have a quarterback. That's where it starts at. You know why I can say that? Because I saw it. I saw it in person, how you could take and surround Tom Brady, protect him, keep him off the ground, and you can put anybody out there as long as they can catch the ball and they understand how to run a comeback, how to run a curl, go 12, come back 10. Defensive backs cannot cover long. But if you can protect that quarterback and give him time to throw the ball, you can put Minister out there. You can put Jonathan out there and run around. He'll get open.
Okay.
All right,
I seen it. I see you don't need that big time wide receiver. You just need somebody who can catch the ball and, like we all alluded to, got heart, it got character, got a workman like mentality. You don't need those big explosive guys. You just need an offensive line who can keep your quarterback off the ground, give him time to throw the ball.
And that's exactly what I think they're trying to build here. When you get a guy like a Drake London, what they're trying to do is they want a quarterback who's mobile enough. And I just want to address this really quickly. So I did about Marcus Mariota. Again, all part of the game plan. What did Ritter say when he got on his press conference? He said, hey, you know what? They asked him, what quarterback do you mold yourself after? He said, well, to be honest with you, the guy that you just picked up. He said, because I think my game is similar. We're similar size. We like to do the same type of thing. He said, I look forward to coming there. And Mariota said in his press conference, he said, look, I want to be the starter. He said, but if I have to play backup to where they draft, I don't care. He said, I'm here to prove myself again.
Love it.
So
good job, Marcus.
Right.
Good job, buddy.
So Arthur Blank is irritated. I understand. Look, the guy's 70-something years old. He's been this close to winning the Super Bowl. He's thinking, I don't know how much more time I've had here. I've had to battle cancer. I want to win right now. I want fans back in here right now. And so that's why people are clamoring for Malik Willis, because the guy, as we saw, the replay of the famous Michael Vick commercial, he did it again. He threw the ball out of the stadium. And that's what people saw when they saw Malik Willis running to his dead left as a right-hand quarterback and throwing the ball 60 to 70 yards in the air. But once that film came out, Falcons fans said, get him.
Yeah.
But what Arthur Smith understands is he's trying to build something that the Falcons could not just get to the playoffs, but compete for a Super Bowl title over a 3 to 5 year span. And what he knows is I got to build people that I can go to the mat with, guys that I can trust, guys that are going to buy into the program, and guys that he wants a bunch of guys like the Patriots had. A lot of guys that played on your team, Tyrone, they had what? Chips on their shoulders. They felt they were overlooked. They felt they came from small schools. They felt that people didn't like them because they were bland or because of Coach Belichick. So they always had a bad attitude. And guess what? In the NFL, if you got a nasty demeanor and you know how to be precise and obey commands, you can build a championship.
Did you say obey commands?
Yeah.
They're not dogs. You don't obey commands.
Okay, it's a figure of speech. What I mean is
I know it is, but
coaching.
Yeah,
if they can obey coaching, if they can listen to the game plan, follow the game plan, and then as needed, make a play, you can go a long way. I mean, think about this. They were 7-10 with a quarterback that was virtually immobile and had no offensive line.
Yeah. And speaking of quarterback, I say this. I'm a mirror something that Marcus said that I heard Deion Sanders. Marcus, again, I applaud you, man, for saying that. That is a team player, unlike the quarterback in Tennessee, Tannehill. But Deion said, I'll teach you everything that you need to know as a corner. Now, this is what I heard him say. Mm-hmm. But he says, if you're good enough to take my position, then you deserve it. But I have confidence enough to know that even if I teach you, you're still not going to outdo me. We're just going to make each other better. So I like what Marcus is saying. Hey, I'm going to teach you, but you know what? If you take my job, then you take it. But if not, then hey, you just keep learning. Unlike the other quarterback, I'm not going to teach you nothing because I'm scared you're going to take my position from Jump Street.
Yeah.
Todd said the Mike Vick video was edited, but I don't know. But this last one he did, Todd, it looked like it was just a real deal. I mean, because they weren't standing in the middle of the field. Mike was like right near the sideline. He basically had to throw it up over the top. So whether it was edited or not, I don't know. And then he says, I guess he was liking you telling me off. Tree said, get him.
Tree. I got him, Todd.
Get him. Yeah, you ain't no good, Todd. That's okay. I see where your bread is buttered. All right. Well, look, guys, as always, it's about time for us to wrap this up. Hold on.
Before we wrap it up.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Detroit.
I just want to say, my Detroit Lions came through with the draft, and thank you to Jacksonville Jaguars for not drafting Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, dumb move in my opinion, but hello, he is now a Detroit Lion, and watch out. I'm just saying, mark my words. I'm saying it right here, right now. Y'all not ready for what my Lions are going to do next season.
All right, here we go. This what now? I know the season hasn't started, but here's the question: who wins the most games, the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Detroit Lions?
Detroit Lions.
We're gonna come back to that.
We already know.
Detroit Lions.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. Interesting you mentioned that. The other thing that I found strange, I'm going to do some research on this, was the number of teams that the players either grew up wanting to play for that team or they lived in that area. It really was bizarre that they were being drafted by teams that either, like I said, like in the case of Detroit, that technically would be the team you would go to if you played for the University of Michigan.
That's
and
right.
just all the Falcons have 2 or 3 players. They drafted guys that either were directly connected to the coach or they, like the guy Malone played here in Atlanta area. It just is real bizarre that so many teams, the kid from the Jets, one of the draftees was talking about, he grew up like literally right down the road from the training facility. And that was his home team. So that was kind of a bizarre team. There were a lot of teams, there were a lot of teams that seemed to draft guys that were their hometown team or lived in their area. Todd throwing one more shade before we go.
He must have said something about my Lions.
He sure did. He said the Lions going to win 3 games. Doggone.
Listen,
Todd,
Todd,
you ain't no good.
I hate to tell you, Todd, but you are not correct, sir. My Lions are going to win way more than 3 games. You just watch and see. I want you to record this, write down the date. I have said it today. My Lions are going to shock most of you. They're not going to shock me because I know y'all are not ready for what the Lions are going to do this season.
Wow.
Mark my words.
And speaking of tape, I'm going to get the tape next week. And next time D-Led comes on, because I said to him, I said, D-Led, the rumors are the Falcons may draft Drake London. Oh, no, he's not the best quarterback on the board. And if you guys remember, I told you weeks ago that Desmond Ridder was a guy I liked to come here for the Falcons.
You've always liked Cincinnati. Yeah.
Well, and Cincinnati, man, to their credit, I mean, this is what happens when you play against the big boys. They had several of their guys, including a guy that I know that Tyrone likes, Mr. Sauce Gardner. He said,
man, look at here. I just hope he can back it up because, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be tough in the NFL. He got a lot of good confidence, but I'm telling you, man, those quarterbacks, they make the difference. So, but the good thing about it, he's in the East, the AFC East. So you're not.
Well, I mean, you got, I mean.
In Miami, I'm drawing a blank. Guys, help me out. Tyreek Hill.
Right.
Tyreek. So I don't know, Sauce.
And he got Buffalo to worry about twice, man, with the cannon.
There you go.
Josh Allen, the cannon.
Yep. Let me take that back. Yeah.
He got some work cut out for him, man. But he's going to get some good practice. Got to tell you something. They talking about cannon. That kid Wilson, man, that plays for the Jets at quarterback, but he can sling it. So, he's going to go against a guy every single week that's going to be slinging around to get him set up. So, hopefully, like I said again, man, the Jets, I'm telling you, the Jets, they had a nice draft, man. They got my man.
The guy from Fayetteville State, HBCU. He went the 4th round to Kansas City.
Okay.
So he was the highest selection in the last several years coming from HBCU from Fayetteville State, the corner.
That's awesome.
And Tyrone, that's one thing, man, we're going to look into. She's right.
He said, if they win 4, you will buy my website.
Yeah, he means buy something from the website.
Yeah, I'm about to say you must be, because my website isn't for sale, but you can definitely buy some things from my website. And we can just go ahead and start talking about what you're going to purchase because, my Lions are going to win way, way, way more than 4 games next season. You probably should set the bar a little higher.
Talk to him. So Todd, what we're gonna do next week is she'll have a list of items that you can purchase off of the new website, bro. Because they're gonna win more than 4 games. Even I know that, bro. Even the preacher know that. Well, look, guys, we gotta wrap it up here. It's been a great sports talk. As you know, we're gonna be doing more of the extended period as we get into football season. We're going back to 9:30. We're gonna bring some other folks in to talk about high school and college football on the regular. So excited! It's football time in the state of Georgia. We're excited about that, and I already got the Las Vegas shades ready to go. All right. You know how we do it. Every time we have a broadcast, we have to make sure that people know how they can find out more about you. So first of all, Mr. Tyrone Poole, you know what? The floor is yours.
All right. Again, want to make sure we get that name correct. His name, Joshua Williams, cornerback from Fayetteville State, was drafted fourth round by the Kansas City Chiefs, the highest HBCU draft pick in the last several years. So go get him, Joshua. Go get him. But yeah, Tyrone Poole, 38 on all social media. Tyrone Poole, 38. Thank you, Minister.
Yes, sir.
Tree.
God bless.
Bye, Tyrone.
All right, Ms. Tree Dolman, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I do want to say that this is May. May is Brain Cancer, Brain Tumor Awareness Month. And so I'm going gray all month long. And actually, I go gray every day. But definitely during this month, look forward to some things that I'm going to do with my nonprofit organization, Go Gray for a Cure. I will talk about that next week on the show so that you can participate and help raise funds for life-saving brain cancer research and also spread awareness. You can find me on all social media at It's Latresa, as well as Ms. America International 2021. Please go ahead and check out my social media and my new website for El Shimon Candles and Cosmetics, and let us know what you think.
There you go. All right, guys. Remember, follow her anywhere on social media. You see it right there. It's handy. We have it on the screen. Make sure to follow her and find out more about her website and what she's doing as well out in the community, because she's got a lot of good stuff she does in the community as well. So we hope you guys will follow her there. All right, I'm going to go here on the screen. If I can get myself on here, here we go. That's not me. I'm going to try to get my information. There we go. Right there. There you go. Okay, guys, you can find out more about me, Jay Simmons at realtalksports.net. That's how you can contact me if you want to follow me on social media. Here it is right here. Follow the show first, Real Talk Sports 7. You can follow me personally on social media at Minister J Sim. Again, you also can reach us. If you got a great story that you think should be on the show, that's what I had up before. There it is, Jay Simmons at realtalksports.net. You can call me on the cell, 678-410-9833. I'd love to contact you and get involved whatever you're doing in the world of sports. I'm sure a lot of you guys are doing some great stuff, and we'd like to get up on the air. All right, one thing I do want to encourage you to do as a full-blown licensed minister, I want to encourage you, if you don't know Jesus Christ, your personal Savior, you don't have a relationship with God, I'm telling you, please, ma'am, please, sir, get to know him today. Why? Because nobody loves you like Jesus. Absolutely nobody does. He died for you here so that you might be saved from your sins. And that this is the wonderful thing that he's done. When he died, he rose from the dead, and he offers you now this salvation. So when you repent of your sins, believe in him, here's what happens. Two things. Number one, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. But number two, you become an adopted child of God, and you have all the rights therein. What that means is, number one, you can now go to God, ask him for anything that you need or desire, and according to his will, he'll grant it to you. And number two, when you die, you go to that spectacular, beautiful, wonderful place called heaven with none of the following: no pandemic, no pain, no bad people, no politics, no protests. You never die, and you get to see God and Jesus face to face, and all the wonderful people that maybe inspired you on your Christian journey. Your mom, auntie, pastors will all be there. It'll be wonderful. Streets paved with a gold that's so pure it's translucent. Can't get any better than that. And you avoid the unhappy place called hell, where all the things that are in heaven won't be in hell. So it'll be dark, it'll be terrible, it'll be lots of anguish and pain. But most of all, you'll be cut off from God, Jesus Christ, and all the people you love forever and a day. I don't know about you, but I like option number one instead of option number two. All right, guys, until the next time we get a chance to see you again, God bless you and have a great night. So long.